Hi, this is Kelly from paperbeadrollers.com, and today we're going to talk about how to use the Wide Euro Bead Stencil. Now, the Wide Euro Bead is one of the most popular patterns and templates that I sell in all of the different formats that I sell it in. And I mean, who doesn't love a Wide Euro Bead? You know, it's chunky, it shows off pattern paper on the flatter parts, it has that beautiful little curve to it, and it's a great one to show off to people who just simply cannot believe that you made this from paper. Now, some of you tell me that you have trouble getting that nice chunky Wide Euro Bead shape when you're using the stencils. Well, there's a reason for that. I'm going to explain to you why it happens, and I'm going to show you how to use it to your advantage. So let's get rolling.
Let's go over the tools and supplies that you'll need. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new tutorials coming out from paperbeadrollers.com. To do this project, you'll need scissors, glue, a mechanical pencil, and a paper bead roller tool like the ones you can purchase at paperbeadrollers.com. And of course, you'll need the Wide Euro Bead Stencil from paperbeadrollers.com. There are 3 strips that work together to form the Wide Euro Bead, so there are 3 stencils in the set. The first step in making the Wide Euro Bead is to trace the shapes onto your paper. Now, if you're using pattern paper, pay attention to where the small end of strip 3 lands on the pattern. This is the most visible part of the bead. For example, if I want to make sure my bead has a butterfly wing pattern on it, I'll make sure to line up strip 3 right here where the wing pattern will show through at the end. Now, to make this easy for you to see, I'm going to trace my strips on the back of the paper. Now, the stencils are thick, they're not floppy, and they don't move around a lot, so just apply a little pressure to hold them in place. Use your mechanical pencil to trace around the shape. Now, why a mechanical pencil? Well, if you use a pen or a marker, generally the end of the pen will push away from the edge of the stencil and you won't get a consistent shape. A mechanical pencil allows you to extend the lead and get right up on the edge of the stencil so you get exactly the right strip shape. And as you know, the strip shape is super important to the end shape of your bead. When cutting the strips, decide if you're going to cut inside or outside of the lines. It doesn't matter which, as long as you stay consistent for all of the strips. I like to use regular scissors for this instead of the small fussy cut scissors, as the longer scissors makes for a straighter line. Now, I did forget this tip earlier. Number the strips before you cut them out. It helps to keep them organized when you're rolling and you don't have to eyeball it to figure out which strip is number 1, number 2, and number 3. I mean, you can do it because they're shaped differently. It's just easier if you mark them ahead of time. I like to cut the ends off last because I think I get a straighter cut. It's just personal preference though. You can do it however works best for you. And there we go, all 3 strips are ready to roll. Now, if you aren't sure which end of the strip to start rolling on, it's always the larger end. The ends of strip 1 should be about the same, so you can just choose which end to start with. Insert the strip into the slot on the paper bead roller. And as you roll, make sure your strip is aligned directly in the center. Now you can glue the end of the strip down. And grab strip 2. Again, start with the larger end of the strip. Put a bit of glue on the bead. I like to spread it around a little bit. Then hold the strip in place right up against strip 1 until the glue has dried a bit. Don't overlap the strips, but don't leave any gaps here either. Just butt those ends right up together. You're going to roll this strip center aligned as well. And then glue down the end. And it's time for strip 3. So start with the largest end and roll the strip center aligned. Now take your time, make sure you get this as centered as possible because this is the most visible strip on your bead. When you come to the end, glue it down. And there is your wide Euro bead. Beautiful, right? Now, I'm about to blow your mind. This blue bead was also made with the Wide Euro Bead stencil. So why is it so much larger and chunkier? I mean, it's even shaped a little differently. How can that be? Well, there are a couple of reasons for this. If you've watched my beginner video on paper beads or you've downloaded my paper bead basics guide, you know that the length of the strip is one of the elements that dictates your end result. The stencil strips are 9 inches long. Now, in my past videos where I made Euro beads, I often used strips that were 12 inches long because that was the length of my paper. So those beads are going to be a little chunkier because the paper is longer. So how can you get closer to that chunkier shape using the stencils? That brings us to the second element that impacts your end result, the thickness of the paper. The pattern paper I used in this video has a weight of 70 pounds, so you could compare it to like a nice thick copy paper. This created a bead that is more oblong shaped and not as chunky. The second bead is made from 65-pound cardstock, which is much thicker than the butterfly paper, and created a bead that is much wider and chunkier.
So what do you do if you have 70-pound pattern paper, but you want a wider, chunkier bead? Well, you can try doubling up your strips. Cut 2 of each strip and make them as uniform as you can. Glue the widest end of each set of strips together. Now, I don't glue the entire strip because they tend to shift as you roll and become uneven. If you glue the entire strip, sometimes you get bumps that ruin your bead. Start by rolling the glued strip 1s. Now you can see that when I get to the end, they're uneven, so I'm going to snip off just the tiniest little bit to even them up. Now add the strip 2s that you glued together, and do the same for strip 3. The end result is something in between our first 2 beads. You can experiment to get exactly the look you want for your wide Euro bead. Told you I'd blow your mind with this one. And that is how to use the Wide Euro Bead stencils. Be sure to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel for more paper bead videos. Happy rolling!